Hey, what's up, y'all? You are listening to your Mental Matters podcast. I'm your girl, Mo. And for those of you watching, thank you for tuning in. We're back with another episode, and I have a very special guest with me tonight. I'm going to have her introduce herself very shortly. But before, thank you so much for being here, Ty.
Of course.
And yeah, who are you? Like, let's start there. Ty, introduce
Yeah.
yourself to the people. Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Taiwo. I am a licensed mental health counselor. And yeah, I love God too.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I'm a Nigerian American. My parents are from Nigeria.
Uh-huh. Big up
Um,
yourself.
yes, I love my culture
Mhm.
very much. It is a very much a part of me.
Yeah.
And so is my faith. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm here with you.
Yes. And thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Me and Ty, whoa. I'll be calling you Ty now since work. I feel like
I
since
know.
the work. I've been like, I'm like,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
Yeah, it's
But
okay.
since
Yeah.
me and Ty we go back some
Yeah.
years because we
Yeah.
um went to the same church.
Yeah.
Um that's where we met. We met at
Yeah,
church.
we did.
And from there I feel like we kind of had a pretty good connection from start. But
Yeah.
I feel like we've been trying to get up for a minute and just kind of hang and like
Yeah.
get together. And so I'm glad like, we're doing the pod now and we'll get
Yeah.
some time to kind of like,
Yeah.
chop it up and really like catch up after. But I appreciate you for being here.
Yeah.
Me and Ty also work together. She put me on. She was
Yeah.
like my referral. I always say that like when
Yeah.
people ask me like, "Oh my gosh, how'd you get into private practice? How are you working at where you're working?" I'm like,
Mhm.
my sis put me on. My friend, she worked there. She put me on. So
You gotta put people on.
exactly.
Can't be gatekeeping.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. Because I
Yeah.
especially in when it comes to being in the mental health field, there's a very, I feel like small ratio of us there, women of color,
Mm.
black and brown folk. So
Mm-hmm.
I truly appreciated it. And especially this is me kind of coming out of, I mean, I was working somewhere at the time when you told me about it, but this was like I was not really having a great time at the previous job that I was working at. And then,
Yeah.
also like, not too long ago, finishing my master's degree.
Yeah.
So it was really like, I think your referral kind of came at the perfect time. And I was like, this is like God sent for real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy that you're working with me. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I said, we do need more of us. So
Yep.
whenever we can put each other on, we should.
Yes.
Honestly. So
I agree. And I appreciate that. I mean, I try to do that as well. Like, things that I know of
yeah,
that are
you
going on.
definitely are like that. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like I feel like cuz why not? Like there's room there's enough space for everyone. The gatekeeping thing be a little weird to me, especially when it's when I see it in people of color who are in the field or even outside of the field. I'll be like, you don't got to do that. Like because but I think that comes from like just our history.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah, a lot of times I do kind of like have grace for those type of situations, but I try my best to, you know, extend opportunities to other people or mention people's names in something that I feel like would be good for them
Yeah.
and things like that. So, yeah, so welcome, Auntie.
Yes.
Yeah, I want us to start with usually every episode I start with a check-in, right? Mental health
Yeah.
check-in to see like how you are, how your mental health has been.
Yeah.
If there's been anything going on that you want to talk about, this is the time. So how are you? How's your mental health?
I've been good. Um, like my mental health has been up and down lately, but I think I don't know, transitions, I have a lot of things happening at once.
Yeah.
Work can be overwhelming at times and trying to balance um balancing like being a therapist but also taking care of yourself
Yep.
is yeah, that can be hard.
Mhm.
So trying to take care of myself a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Trying to have fun this summer. I have a lot of weddings to go to this summer.
That part.
Um, so that's been taking up a lot of my time, but I've been trying to have fun, like
Yeah.
supporting my friends whenever I can and hanging out with people that mean a lot to me. So that's been
Mhm.
really helpful.
Mhm.
And then just being more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Um, Vulnerability is powerful. And I think I am a vulnerable person, but I need to do it more often
Mhm.
and just like sharing what's going on because it does lift the weight.
Yeah.
So, having friends that I know that can listen, and I don't have to, because being a therapist, people can easily think, oh, like, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that?
Yep.
So just having people, you know, um, that can pour into me, and I can just,
Mhm.
that could just listen to me.
Love that.
That's really helpful.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that's been, yeah, that's, I mean, but I think I'm okay now. Like, I think there are periods where I'm like, I think when in between seasons, like,
Yep.
I don't think we talk about that a lot. It's not just like they say seasonal affect. I don't have seasonal affect disorder,
Yeah.
but I just between seasons, that
Mhm.
that transition period, the weather changing,
Yeah.
all of that, the air quality messed me up mentally a little bit and
Girl.
physically. So I was just like, this is just it's a lot.
Mhm.
So I have to learn to just listen to my mind and my body more. So that's what I've been trying
Absolutely.
to do. Yeah,
Yeah. No, for
yeah.
sure, for sure. And how have you been doing that? I know you said you've been trying to make a conscious effort and you've been trying to be intentional about taking care of yourself. What does that look like for Taiwo?
So I mean, for me, it's um journaling, prayer journaling. Listen, I love music.
Mhm.
You love me some Afro beats, R&B, soul, all
Yes,
of it.
girl.
I just don't listen to country. We don't do that here. Um but hanging out with friends, like,
Yeah.
like Afrobeat nights, like my friend is a DJ. I go to his
Mhm.
events whenever he hosts one. I just love I love, just hanging with and chilling and dancing and vibing with people.
Yeah.
Traveling,
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah. It's needed.
definitely.
I need to do more of that. I need to just get out of the country. But I still go
Girl.
to different states and stuff.
Yes.
Meeting new people. So that's really what it is. And just like, like even when after I shower, I take my time and
Mhm.
like just, putting all the oils and serums,
Yeah.
feel me? I be trying to be more intentional about how I present myself to the world,
Yeah.
and just like, whether it's like makeup or clothes,
Mhm.
um all of that to me is just like it helps me in just feeling better,
Yeah.
investing in myself.
Absolutely. I
So
love that.
yeah.
I love that. And I agree. I agree with you. Like I feel like that term, like when you look good, you feel good, I think is true. At least maybe for women. I don't know. For I feel like for everybody, even for
Hmm.
men. Like if you got your hair cut and you smell good and things like that, you show up and go out into the world feeling good too. And I feel like especially for women of color, like,
Yeah,
us spending time like kind of that's self-care,
I agree.
putting that time in makes a difference, I think. So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I love that. And you mentioned traveling too. Traveling is like number one self-care for me. Like when I travel, when I
yeah.
go,
You be out here.
girl, I'll be coming back a new person. I'll be like, what was
Mm,
I upset about before I left?
mm,
Sometimes, like a lot of the times when I travel, I feel that way. Like
yeah.
it just makes me feel refreshed. And
Hmm.
whatever the problems were that I was experiencing here in New York don't feel as problematic anymore. It's like, that's nothing.
Wow.
So I'm like, for me, traveling be like number one, but um yeah, so I just love that you said that. And I guess I can do like my check-in too. I think I've been in a good space, I guess. I really feel like I'm like, is there something? Like I feel like lately I've been trying to think like, am I, because I try to reflect often, like at the end of the week or even like day by day, like how am I feeling today? Am I okay? Type of thing. And I think lately I've been feeling fine. Like of course life be life in and things still be going on that maybe are unfavorable, but I feel like I haven't allowed maybe external things to kind of
Yeah.
penetrate me, like whatever, whatever my being and, my spirit, where my spirit is at, I haven't let it
Mm,
penetrate much, which I'm like happy about. To me, that's growth. Because there have been moments where I was just like, oh, everything around me is like annoying me or like just like
yeah.
affecting how I'm feeling. And it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like I've made a conscious effort to work on that. Like, whatever's going on outside of you is outside of you. Like, like be still and who and where you're at, how you feeling, like, and just because other people may be feeling certain things doesn't mean it has to affect you. And so I feel like that's growth for me to where I can say like things are not perfect, but whatever's going on, like I can choose to be good. And so I feel
Hmm.
like lately I've been seeing like a consistency in that. Like things have probably maybe come up to try to like affect my energy. And it's just been a thing of like, that's nothing,
Mm,
and so I think to me, that's pretty good. Like I feel like for me, I've just been feeling like good.
that's
If I had to pick a word, just good.
yeah. I mean, it's And I think that's a good space to be in,
Mhm.
honestly, especially as therapists. I
Girl.
think sometimes we can be very introspective and we like, oh, I'm not, like you good, you okay,
Yes.
sis. It's
Yes.
okay to be good.
Absolutely. You don't gotta be all of that. And it's like,
Yeah.
granted, because me and Ty, we actually just saw each other yesterday, and I was over there
Yes.
crying. Like, I
Bawling.
was
I was
over.
like, yo, sis.
I was over there crying,
Oh.
and we were at like a positive. We were at a bridal shower,
Yes, the bridal
and
shower.
I was over there bawling. Like, but I don't know that it was me bawling of like. I think it was just I was emotional, but I think what I was feeling was gratitude,
Towards her.
and yeah.
She's an amazing person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but what it did too was it made me like being there and being able to celebrate the woman that we were celebrating, it made me reflect too on like just kind of like my life journey because she was like there like from an early age, early part of my life. So I think it was a combination of just gratitude and like happiness, but then like I was reflecting on my life too, like wow, like where would I be, if this person didn't come into my life at the time that they did? Because they did play like a very like pivotal like role, I think. Whether they see it as such or not, or I might not have even realized it at an
Yeah.
early age, like the role that they played at the time. So I think a lot of it was gratitude and just like, I don't know, like like introspection, self-reflection and things like that. But yeah, it was a really happy time, but I was bawling and Ty was like, "You good?" Ty really was like, "Girl, you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah." But I was over there, I was just crying and I'm like, but it felt good though cuz
Yeah.
I don't think I've cried in a little minute.
Tears of joy when
Yes.
we see like people we love that just we've just seen their journey.
Mhm.
Like I love seeing I love love.
Yeah.
I love seeing people triumph
Yeah.
and like when you know someone's story, that's why it's good to be vulnerable because when you know someone's story, you can celebrate them even more.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I was like, I had a feeling it was tears of joy, but I was like, you just always got to check in. You
Always.
good, sis? All right,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, like that was
Mhm.
honestly, yeah, it was moving. It was
Yeah.
moving. I love, yeah,
Mhm.
I love seeing people get their flowers.
Absolutely.
And she definitely got her flowers yesterday, and she's gonna keep getting them
She'll
flowers.
keep yep.
It's good to have powerful. Not let me not say powerful because people want to say strong black woman. I don't like that
Mhm.
trope.
Right.
But it's good to see beautiful people inside and out
Yes.
just be celebrated. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree
yeah,
with you. I felt like if there's somebody who I would say is like deserving, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like I just feel like she's deserving of everything that she receives,
exactly.
and to see that like okay, somebody get what they deserve is a good feeling because a lot
Honestly,
of times people get things that and they're I guess relatively you would be like they're not really deserving of that, right? But it's like as from a human standpoint, we would be like, really?
yeah,
But it's like to see somebody that like their character, their heart, how they've shown up for people and how much they've persevered and have been patient for certain things and then they get what it's like, yeah, it's just a good feeling. And I think it's inspiring, right? It gives others hope that like, like the things that you're doing or not doing is not in vain, right? Like there can be something very like rewarding,
yeah,
at the end.
yeah, and it just makes me think of just like you don't realize. I think your character comes from the growth that you experience in your hardship.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
think we need hardships. Now, is it feel good? No.
Yeah,
But the person you are is the person you are when you're going through hardships.
absolutely. Ooh, that was it, girl.
And I've had to, and I think, hearing her story and how she's persevered, it made me remember that like our hardships define how we grow, how we react and what we decide to do with them. um it has an impact on who we are.
Yeah.
And so like I just think about everything that I've been through, and
Mhm.
I'm like, if I got stuck in that, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be where I am now.
absolutely.
So I think it's very easy to get stuck and get a chip on your shoulder.
Mhm.
And look, sometimes that chip should be this, and I
Yeah.
get it, but like if we want to live a life where we want to grow and experience joy, we have to go through those hardships.
Yeah.
we have to be able to grow from it. And then when you experience it again
Mhm.
or something similar to it, you have the tools now to deal with it.
Yeah.
I always tell that to my clients. I'm like, growth isn't linear, it's a
Mhm.
spiral.
Mhm.
Like, we're going to encounter a lot of the same triggers and the same situations, but what we do in those situations matter,
Yeah.
which is why we have to learn how to react to those things and how to navigate our emotions and our
Mhm.
thoughts,
Mhm.
because we're going to encounter them over and over again. Are you going to keep getting stuck every time it happens, or do you want to learn how to navigate this so that when you do experience it again, it feels a little less heavy,
Yeah. I
you
love
know?
that.
So
I love that. That was fire. No, for real.
no,
No, for real.
it's honestly, it comes from my faith in God. It comes from everything that I've been through. Like, I feel like a lot of times being a therapist edifies my faith even more.
Mhm.
It
Absolutely.
really does, because like, the tools that I learn, and it's like you have to learn how to navigate these things.
Yeah.
And the Bible talks about how things aren't like hardships and triumph, like hardships and trials are promised, but there's you know a wisdom and that comes from it.
Yeah.
Is the knowledge that comes from those trials.
Mhm.
You ever notice that the people who are so wise and mature are the people that have been probably be the most traumatized people you've met?
Listen.
Yo, that's what I'm
Always.
trying to say.
Always.
It's crazy though, because they have so much to share because they've been through it,
Yeah.
you know? And
Mhm.
that's why we need it. And look,
Mhm.
I don't gotta be the wisest person, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
I've been through some stuff
Yeah.
to get to where I
Let's really
am.
talk about it. Let's talk about it because Ty, where you want to start from? Like what like I guess
Yeah.
if you can talk to like the audience, the listeners about
Yeah.
your journey, right? Like your life journey,
Yeah.
even maybe moments of where you've struggled in your mental health like
Yeah.
yeah, take it from the beginning, wherever you want to start from.
I That's a long call, but we could do that.
Mhm.
Like, when I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with lupus.
Mhm.
And that kind of literally changed my world. I was a healthy child, was
Yeah.
active. I was out here playing and doing all that stuff.
Mhm.
And then, like, you go from this active child to this, sick person,
Yeah.
and I think that is when I first navigated mental health issues.
Mhm.
That transition, like, I was taking steroids at the time. My legs were in a lot of pain because of the steroids and
Yeah.
lupus. And I just remember looking at myself in the mirror and not being able to recognize myself.
Mhm.
That's how it was. And my dad, I miss that man. He was like, I see you looking at yourself. I just want you to know this is temporary. I was like, he said,
Wow.
you're still beautiful. And
Mhm.
I didn't grow up with my dad as much in my life,
Mm,
unfortunately. But hearing that from him is healing in a
mm,
sense, but I didn't hear it a lot.
right.
You don't, when you don't grow up with parents who are aware of mental health issues,
Mhm.
you don't, and or also understand affirmation and why it's so important to edify your children and
Yeah.
pour into them and be a secure base. Like, you grow up, messed
Mhm.
up,
Mhm.
for lack of better word. So, like, I
Mhm.
I definitely had to navigate that a lot. And, like, I was sick a lot through my adolescence, like,
Mhm.
in and out of hospitals. I've had both of my knees replaced. I've
Mhm.
had both of my hips replaced. I've had a kidney transplant. Several it's surgeries galore.
Yeah.
I've been on dialysis before, and I think that, kind of like what I'm saying, like, I've had to learn about myself through those situations.
Right.
Um, I used to think that I had to be strong.
Mhm.
Um, and whatever that means.
Right.
People used to always say, "Be strong for your mother," you know. Um,
What
and
did that mean to you at the time? Or what does that mean for you now?
I think what they were telling me was like, "Don't show those emotions.
Mm.
Don't be sad. Don't cry.
Right.
Act like everything is okay." I think that's
Mhm.
what a lot of people don't realize it. That's what they're saying,
Right.
and it's a very big thing in, like, black culture, but Nigerian culture, like, mental health issues aren't as talked about. Now there are some progressive families who are
Yeah.
getting on the band, getting
Mhm.
there, but, like, back in the day, like, growing up, that was not something you spoke about,
Right.
like, mental health.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't think I didn't even realize that I was depressed and anxious. I didn't even realize that's what it was.
Mhm.
I just knew I was sad all the time,
Yeah.
and I just felt like, you just felt like you have this darkness just looming over you.
Mhm.
Like, things just seem dreary.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't until like I got to college when I first started learning more. Well, I think my senior year of high school, we took a psychology class.
Mhm.
It was an introduction to it, but it was pretty cool because we were just like, learning about different things.
Yeah.
But when I got to college, that's when I first learned about like, oh, I said I want to be a psychologist. I want to be a psychiatrist or a
Mm.
therapist. I didn't know the different ways to be one.
Yeah.
I received therapy the first time my senior year of college. I was going through it. I had so much anxiety. I was doing so much,
Mm.
and I was navigating being president of the African Student Union at when I went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
I was also involved in I was a mentor to so many different women. I
Mhm.
had school,
Right.
and I was involved in so many different things at the time, and I just didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
And I felt like I was choking.
Mhm.
And like, so when I went to that, I just remember crying so much when
Yeah.
I finally went and just talking about it. Unfortunately, it was only temporary because you can only do so many sessions in school.
For sure.
Um,
Yep.
but then, after college, I made an effort to be in therapy. And I was like, I think I want to do this. I majored in psychology,
Mhm.
but like I didn't know what I wanted to do with that.
Yeah.
So then I started looking into it, and in like 2018, that's when I joined the the MHC program, mental health counseling program at Brooklyn College.
Mm.
Um, so that's been, I think that was me going that route has been where I am now.
Mhm.
But I've learned like you think that what you're feeling
Mhm.
is just you,
Yeah.
that no one else has experienced it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
You think that what your experience is so weird and like no one will understand.
Yeah.
And I till this day it's things are being revealed like, oh shoot, like
Mhm.
that's actually a diagnosis. Like
Right.
I was diagnosed with ADHD like last year. I did not know I had ADHD.
Wow.
But black women are less likely to be diagnosed with ADHD.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
overlooked in that way, in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. But that's
Mhm.
one of the many ways we're overlooked because it's usually men,
Mm.
particularly white males.
Right. Right. And do
Yeah.
the symptoms look different depending on?
That's the thing. It can look different.
Mhm.
People will say hyperactivity and ADHD looks a certain way. Like you probably see jitteriness and but like
Yeah.
hyperactivity can be hyperactivity here
Right.
in your mind.
Internal. Yeah.
It can be internal. It can
Mhm.
also it can display differently.
Mhm.
But that's a socialization thing.
Right. Correct.
Like think about it. Like men are depressed, but like you won't see it in the same
Mhm.
because of socialization.
Right.
And then so, I've had to learn that I've had to navigate that,
Mhm.
and understanding that has been so helpful, and I put so much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
The weight of the world was like on me, and I'm like I had to be perfect, and
Mhm.
the lies that we tell ourselves.
That part.
So, it's been an awakening, honestly.
Yeah.
Like just being in this field and just learning about myself.
Yes.
It has been, and I use a lot of what I've been through and what I've learned and what I've also, I like to keep on a know and just learning different techniques and stuff to help my clients
Of course.
who don't have the language to express
Yeah.
those things.
Mhm.
So, but I've seen when I work with, clients, black clients in particular, black men or black women in particular, you see like they have to unlearn so much
Mhm.
growing up in the households they've been in,
Yeah.
and like where mental health wasn't talking about what was seen as a weakness,
Yeah.
and especially first generation.
Mm. Talk about it.
First generation, like my parents, they became citizens,
Yeah.
they did the whole nine, so they had all of it, but
Yeah.
like I'm still technically like my brothers and sister, we are first generation Nigerians,
Yeah.
like, right? Because like we were born here,
Yeah.
and I realized that has an effect.
Oh, for sure.
Like this guilt you feel, like I gotta
Mm.
buy mama a house. I gotta
Mhm.
provide. I have to get good. Like you feel this pressure to fulfill their dream,
Yeah.
their like that American dream, and
Yeah.
that weighed on me a lot too.
Mhm.
Like, cause my mom wanted me to be a
Mhm.
doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Mhm.
That's those are the three
Yeah.
those are three professions. Sometimes it's a joke, but it's low key true.
Yeah.
You're a doctor, lawyer, engineer. They look at you like the sun is shining on you and you're just glowing.
Yeah.
But
Creme de
I
la
didn't want to
creme.
do any of that. Like I was tired. I was in the hospital my whole life. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I have yeah. So navigating that, I remember telling my mom like I don't want to be a doctor,
Mhm.
and she was like, "You always wanted to be one," and I realized like I'm not living my life for her. I have
Mhm.
to live my life for me. And
Absolutely.
that's when I started to, I've from then I've just been trying to do things for me.
Mhm.
Not to say that I'm not thinking about the people I love, but I have to do things for me,
Mhm.
you know,
Exactly.
because you're the one that's gonna live this life, no
Yeah.
one else.
Love it.
So
Thank you for sharing that. I'm like, your story, for one, I mean, I know some parts of it,
yeah,
like
yeah,
most of it, because we've talked off camera, but
yeah.
I do think your story is like powerful. Like, I do think, like, and, Ty
Hmm.
has a twin, Ken, so I know y'all have
Yes,
similar,
we've been through a lot of the same things.
yeah. Shout
I
out to
mean,
Ken.
shout out to my sis,
Mm hmm.
my twin sis. Yeah, she's
Mm hmm.
definitely been a pillar for me.
Yeah.
We've navigated a lot of the same health issues,
Mm hmm.
even mental health issues.
Yeah.
And we've both made it a point to educate ourselves on those things.
Mm hmm.
Um, we're very different
Mm hmm.
people in our family.
Yeah.
Um, because I think my sister and I, we just always seen things differently,
Yeah.
um, lived differently.
Mm hmm.
It's just always been that way. And I think having her, it'll definitely help me,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's been helpful.
And I think I just love I love that you had someone, especially somebody that you were so close with, your twin, right? How closer can you get
Mm-hmm.
to kind of navigate, you know, the journey, like the health journey with, right? You guys had each other through that process. Because I know she went through it too.
She went through yeah, we went through similar things. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were diagnosed the same year though.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we were diagnosed with lupus when we were both 11 years old. But yeah, we went through similar things.
Yeah.
A lot of similar things.
Mhm.
It's almost insane.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Got you. But no, I appreciate you for sharing. Um and yeah, I think, some of the things you shared too, I think resonate with me as well. I think just being like, it's weird because I guess I never looked at myself as like first generation. But I am, because my mom is weird, because my mom is an immigrant technically. Like, she was born in Jamaica.
But yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, it's weird because she came here young. She's pretty Americanized.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it felt different. And she's the youngest out of all of her siblings. I think she made a conscious effort with me and my brother to not really pressure us into like, um, pressure us in a certain direction. Like, she gave us, she wanted us to
Yeah.
kind of figure it out and navigate it, because growing up in Jamaica and then coming here,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of that. Like, there's like, you have to be a
Mm.
certain way, you have to, and so I think when she had her children, she made a conscious effort to allow us to like decide what we wanted. But I think that pressure of just like wanting to buy my mom a house and help her to see different things out of life is still there, because I know what she comes from and what she experienced.
Exactly.
And so I think it's so interesting that, like, I feel like just Black people, right? Like, we have like, we can come from different backgrounds, right? But still kind of like walk similar or experience similar things, just as far as like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
culturally and like,
Yeah.
just family wise. So I think, I just love the story that you shared. And yeah, and I appreciate you for sharing. I
Yeah.
definitely wanna get into some more stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
have
Yeah.
us, we're gonna switch gears a little bit,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
so,
I'm ready for that.
you know what? What I want us to do is do a little icebreaker.
Okay.
We're gonna do a little icebreaker
Okay.
before we get into like the kind of the focus that I wanted us to do today is focus on like just you as a professional, you as a therapist, what that experience has been like for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have an article for us that I kind of want us to look through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, it focuses on like um the good qualities of a therapist. Like, what is a good therapist look like?
Mm.
What do they do? What are some traits, right? So I want us to kind
Mm-hmm.
of go through some of those traits and see how you feel about them, if
Yeah.
those you feel like those hold true to you.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I wanted us to just do a quick little icebreaker.
Sure. Sure.
Even though the ice is kind of broken, but I feel like this thing is it's fun. It's fun. I just
Yeah.
love this game. Shout out to
Yeah.
the And.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Friends edition.
Ooh.
We try and get a little sponsorship. So
Oh.
the And, if you
My grandma, she got you.
Yeah, so yeah, you could take a card. Basically, we're gonna do I take one and then you take one, and then we read the question
Mm-hmm.
and then we answer, right? So you could take any one, go ahead, and then I'll go after you.
Okay. Ah. In 5 words, describe how you think others perceive you.
Hmm. Okay, so that's interesting. So is it you asking me, or you want to, or you?
That's I don't know.
That's it. Could be whichever one.
So what is this? Is there a sign? These signs mean something? You know what? We can both answer it. How's
Right. We
that?
could both answer. We could
Yeah,
both
yeah.
answer. Do you want me to start?
You can start. Yeah.
Okay. So in 5 words, how do I think others perceive me? That's
Jeez, that's a deep question.
it is. It would take maybe some. How do I think others perceive me? It's interesting because I guess I try not to, and this could be a part of just maybe my my self work. I try not
Mm-hmm.
to really think too much about how I'm being perceived by others. I think I kind of just have tried to transition the lens of like, how do I see myself, and like kind of care more about that. But I guess I feel like people perceive me. I feel like people probably would perceive me like better than I perceive myself. Because I think I know that I'm crazy. I know that, right? But I feel like others may see me as like well put together, um, well put together, um, maybe like laid back,
Mm-hmm.
um, fun,
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and kind, I feel like could kind of be used interchangeably, but maybe not. It could be two different things. Nice, kind, and a extrovert. Those probably would be like 5 things.
You know what's so funny? I wouldn't use extrovert for you.
Girl, I don't think I'm an extrovert,
I don't think you're an extrovert either.
but people
I
tell
know
me,
you. I know you well enough. Okay, maybe that's
but,
just me though.
but people,
I'm a good
yes,
observer, but
right,
you ain't. I would say ambivert. I'm more introverted than.
girl.
That's why people. I said, do people know that?
I feel like
Yeah,
people don't be knowing that, and I think also because of the
the
podcast.
podcast and
There,
but you are. That's the thing. You're getting out of your comfort zone,
exactly,
and that's what that is, and that's what is growth. But yeah,
literally.
I mean, I feel like you missed a lot. You missed wisdom,
Oh, thank
intentionality,
you.
genuinity,
I appreciate that.
loyalty.
Thank you.
Like
Heavy on a loyalty, child. I don't be
no,
playing.
like that's what I'm saying. You done missed the heavy
I know.
characteristics
I guess I'm like,
there.
I guess I was doing more like surface level things because it's like a perception is very like just whatever you see on the outside. But I think like people who really know me would know those like deeper things because and
Mm,
I don't, and just with the extrovert thing, like I've heard a lot of times, I've heard from a lot of people like there's just an assumption that I'm always social, I always want to be, and then it'd be like I'd be like I need my like alone time. I don't always want to talk. I don't,
yeah.
especially with the work that we do, I'll be like, please stop, don't talk for like, like when I'm home, I'll be
Yeah.
like, like I love being alone. I love like solitude. I love like I've been trying to go on a solo trip for the longest because I don't always want to socialize. I don't always want to be around people. But I think on the outside, like the perception could be like, like she's social, she the life of the party, she's everywhere, she knows a lot of people. And it's like that could be true. But like when I show up in those spaces, like I'm not always like, hey. Sometimes I am though. So I do think ambivert maybe. Like sometimes I can be super outgoing and social, and then
Yeah.
other times I could be
But I
more
think at
like,
your core you're introverted, and that's okay.
mm-hmm.
Ain't
For
nothing wrong with that.
girl,
Ain't nothing wrong with being introverted.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
You
5 words. So yeah, I mean, if we talking surface level,
Yeah. Just like how
but you know me, I don't like surface level.
right. Like
I've
if I
never
didn't know
done.
you, if I didn't know
But I
you,
think a lot of people have thought me to be intimidating when they don't know me.
mm,
And that
mm-hmm.
breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not intimidating y'all.
I could probably see that.
No, but like I don't know what it is. People think that I'm confident also.
That's yeah.
I think that I've learned to be more confident. Is that who I have a lot of insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So confident. If you're just looking on the outside, confident, funny.
Mm-hmm.
I am a character.
Mm-hmm. You are.
You know this.
You be having me in stitches, okay? I'll be like, get this girl quickly. So we got intimidating, confident, funny. So 2 more.
um we doing surface level, so
Yeah.
on
Like
the
if I didn't know
surface,
you, what would I think?
uh I think probably I think people would think that I'm extroverted too.
Mm-hmm. Extroverted.
I'm not. And then also like kind. I
Kind.
would use that too.
Mhm.
Or like welcoming. I get that all the time.
Mhm.
Welcoming.
Yeah.
I like people.
Yeah.
I do like people.
Mhm.
I do get annoyed people quickly though, but I do like people. I just like the idea of connection.
Yeah.
So now, if you knew me deeper, that's a different level of stuff.
Yeah.
But surface level, probably that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Because
yeah.
that's what I think a perception is really surface based. Because it's like it's going based off of just like maybe it could because you could perceive somebody from like just like a 10-minute interaction, like, oh, so that's why I say surface level with that. But I think those are pretty accurate to you. I feel like you show up confident, like at least the way you present, you show up confidently. Feel like you are welcoming. You have like a warm energy about you, which could be welcoming.
Mhm.
Um, you are funny. So there's that. Intimidating. I feel like you can be though, depending on who first of all, we had our conversations about you. But I feel like if people try it, you be like, don't. And I think that could be intimidating.
I'm big on boundaries, though. You know this.
I know
I don't like disrespect. I
that
think
part.
that my number one pet peeve is
Y-
disrespect.
yes.
If you feel like you can talk down or talk down to anyone around me
Yeah.
or talk down to me,
It's not gonna
there's
work.
only so much my mouth will keep shut about.
That part.
So I mean, I'll do it, but I'll make sure to do it with a little sternness. But I ain't trying to like tell you off or nothing. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna tell you, like, yeah, please don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
I don't like being disrespected.
I respect it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good quality. I think people being intimidated is something.
it's an internal thing.
Yeah, it
You know
doesn't
this.
necessarily have anything to do with you. I think if you are setting the boundary, you're assertive in your communication, that's healthy.
Yeah,
And how people receive that, that's a whole
but I
different
think
thing.
people can perceive something when they don't know you.
Mhm.
You think I'm intimidating, but I said, how could you think that if you don't really?
Exactly.
And I think a lot it is an insecurity thing. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, like I've been intimidated by people,
Mhm.
but that's because of my own insecurities of how I'm
Mm.
showing up and how I think they show up or
Mhm.
what I think they are and how I'm not measuring up or something.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I love that.
yeah,
I've loved that. And I've been told that I was intimidating too, but I was like,
that doesn't not
blasphemy.
make any
I
sense.
was like, that's blasphemy. But I think really it could be based on, how you show up. Like if you show up, somebody else, I think that's, you kind of hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
If somebody maybe is struggling with something or going through something or feeling insecure about something, but you show up in a way that maybe they want to, like they aspire to, that can be intimidating as well. Sometimes it's just, I feel like when I've heard that, I've been like, how? And I'm like, I feel like I could have maybe like RBF sometimes. I could feel like I could have like, but
Yeah, but you yes, I've heard that about me too.
it depends on where I'm at.
But it's in deep thought though.
That's it.
And that's how I am too.
Yeah.
Someone said you just look back and observe.
Mm.
You think I'm observing, but sometimes I'm just like lost in
Out of
thought.
it, tired.
Yeah, sometimes just, so
Yeah.
I mean it is what it is.
That's
You
it.
know me, you know me.
Hmm.
You know me well enough to know that I would not intentionally try to show up or
Yeah.
come off like I'm better than anyone.
That part.
I hate that stuff.
That part.
So, yeah.
Hmm. I feel that. I feel that. Okay, cool. So that
Mhm.
was the first one. And we'll do one more and then we'll get into,
Yeah.
So, but that first card was cool. So you could put it on. I'll take it.
Mhm.
So you can pick from any side.
I pick from the other side before. Ooh. So I think we answered this to each other.
Mm.
What trait of mine do you most appreciate? It's funny, we
Mm.
just literally just talking about
Yeah,
this.
do you want a different card? Or do
Yeah,
you want to?
I feel like we just did that.
Right. All right, cool. So we put that one back.
Okay. Ooh.
Like that one?
Yo, this is deep. You went deep.
It's deep?
It says, why are you maintaining this relationship?
Ooh, girl, that's pretty deep. What you think?
That's between us, right?
That's between us.
Okay. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
I think like one, I think having friends in the field is needed.
Yeah.
One. Two, I think you are someone who like I said, you're genuine. I think you are a really good friend, and you
Thank
show up for
you.
people, and you show up in a way that is genuine and helpful to that person.
Yeah.
And I think you just, honestly, I don't see a reason not to. That's just
Aw.
I really don't see a reason not to maintain our friendship.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has developed a lot over the years. And that's the thing though, like I could not talk to you for 3 months. Next thing you know, yeah.
Literally.
So what's up? Just like, all right, so this, and this, and it's like,
That part. Let's get
heard
to
you.
it.
And I think that I think you just have a great soul.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, why not?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and honestly, like all it is, like I feel so happy for you.
Oh,
So
thank
like,
you.
yeah, girl, please.
Oh,
That's why I'm like, why not?
yeah.
But yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I'm gonna answer back, okay? I guess just to add to that too, because I feel like, aside from us now working at the same practice, working
Mm-hmm.
together, I do think that I feel like we've been trying to build a stronger like friendship over the years. I feel like similar to what you were saying, we kind of don't miss a beat. Like, say we go an extended period without talking or seeing each
Mm-hmm.
other. When we do link up, I feel like the energy's still the same. It's warm,
Mm-hmm.
it's pleasant. We laugh, we
Mm-hmm.
joke. It's a good time, and I think it is important to just have other women in the field that you can talk to. So I do think like, that's part of it. And that's the crazy part. I don't think I think like that. Like, why am I maintaining this friendship with Ty? Why am I, but I feel like the only times when I've questioned why I was maintaining a friendship was if the friendship was having some issues. So I don't really think like that comes up as like a
No,
thing,
I feel
a
that.
thing with us.
Yeah.
But I do think like, just having you in my life is a blessing, honestly. And I think
No.
even like I was saying with the timing of like you kind of giving me that reference and referral of the job came at a time where I was literally, I feel like at my last job, my mental health was declining
Wow.
um rapidly. Slowly at first,
Hmm.
then gradually, then rapidly. Like every day get going there was taxing. I was like emotionally not okay. Like I was constantly fatigued, tired. I wasn't showing up as much. I didn't feel good there. And I feel like, I definitely um wanted a new job. I was praying about it. I was talking about it with my mom. And then it kind of just came like very like I feel like kind of like how God be doing. And I'll be like, wait, and it's like,
You're
so
like one of the first people I thought of.
I love that for me. Like,
I was waiting. I was like, when is she gonna graduate? Like I
girl,
was waiting.
girl.
No, I think it's
Mhm.
not like you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he talks highly of you too. Funny our
Aw,
boss. So
I
I want to put that out there.
I appreciate that.
So I think you having this space, like
Yeah.
we need more of like you out there.
Thank
So
you.
like, come on, that was even not a question for me.
Thank you, boo. Per like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just that on that. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll do one more. I'll do one more. I'll pick one this time.
Okay.
I'll pick the last one.
All right.
And this one will be I'm gonna pick a different one because this question is weird. But
Okay.
I feel like I always get the weird ones when I've done this icebreaker before. Mm, it's a no too.
Okay.
So we do one more, a third one for good luck. I'm gonna pick on this side. Hmm. What is my greatest strength? That's the question is what is my greatest strength? But I guess we can answer more so like personally. For you, what do you think your greatest strength is? And for me, I'll answer too.
I think kind of like what I spoke about before, like the perseverance part.
Yeah.
Honestly, like there's a scripture in James 1. It said, "Let perseverance finish its work."
Hmm.
That part in itself is, I feel like that's been my life.
Yeah.
Like literally, like my Instagram page, Farada in Yoruba
Yes.
means persevere,
Mm,
right?
I didn't know that.
It
I love
does.
that.
That's why I made it, my Instagram page, because I feel like that scripture has been a theme
Yeah.
in my life.
Hmm.
A theme.
Yeah.
Um and I think it's been something that I've had to cling on to, and I've had to just like, because it's easy to give up with everything that I've been through.
Hmm.
There were times I was like, yo, like it would be better if I never had suicidal ideation.
Yeah.
Like I never thought I wanted to, hurt myself or kill myself, but
Hmm.
I've had passiveness where I'm like, is this even worth it? Like, I'd rather just not. I just
Mhm.
rather the pain was that much. I just rather not be alive.
Yeah.
But I think God has helped me through every step,
Yeah.
and that's why I say, like, when people talk about me and think that I have wisdom, I think that wisdom is only from the understanding and the knowledge that I've gained through my trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it comes from perseverance.
Mhm.
We can't learn and navigate um like life without like understanding why no understanding ourselves from these hardships. What can we
Mhm.
learn about ourselves? And introspection has been a big thing for me, and it's been very hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me right now is perseverance, because it's led to so much other things.
Yeah.
It's me not giving up on
Mhm.
myself. Like, even when I was in 12th grade, 11th grade, in the hospital
Mm.
applying to colleges, because I was like, I'm getting out of here,
Yeah.
because I was that determined.
Mhm.
I was like, I every time I've been faced with something, God has helped me through. So
Mhm.
that is the biggest thing that I feel like has been in my character, is that part.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That's fire. Mhm. Yeah, man. And I would
It
think
is.
I think I was just thinking about that too. Like, I'm like, is that similar to what I'm about to say? But because I think I was trying to figure out the word that was coming to me was resilience, but I feel like that's very close to
I
perseverance.
think it
It's different
yes.
though, right? Like, how do they differ? Because I feel like it was either between resilience for me or like maybe like drive, like my drive or like
Determination.
determination.
I think perseverance is being willing to keep going.
Mm,
Uh, and I think your resilience is like not allowing things to seep in, like not allowing your situations to stop you.
mm,
I think
right.
they're cousins
Yeah.
in a sense, but I feel like it is a little different.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. I think yeah. So I guess resilience would hold true for me. I feel like I was trying to think if it was gonna be resilience or drive, determination.
Hmm.
Because I do think like there is an element of me that when I say like I'm gonna do something, I do it. Or I do everything in my power to attain it and achieve it. And there's a lot of times where I don't know how.
Like this podcast.
Girl, okay? Because if we want to talk about the beginning, it was looking real bleak. Okay, it was looking bleak in the beginning, but I knew like it was on my heart. I had a desire to do it. I knew like I had a vision for it, and that's the thing. I do feel like I don't know how like if like being a I don't know like what the word would be like because I'm like is it resilience, is it drive, is it determination, is it
I think
visionary,
I,
like I don't know.
it's all of it.
Right, like
It's all of it. How
one of
about
those
that?
words.
Visionary, determination, drive, all of it.
Yes.
They're all like,
Yeah.
and they're all there.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And I feel like there's been so many things I feel like that's kind of come up along the way in my journey with the podcast or just life, right? And I feel like no matter what, I've still um just continued, right? Like just continued to do the things that like I set out to do. Like my grandmother passed away in January. I've gone through my own mental health stuff at different points, anxiety, feeling super down. Um like relationship issues, whether it be friendships or even romantic, even though I don't got no real love life or nothing, but
girl, bleak out here. It's bleak
bleak,
out, bleak out
bleak,
here.
bleak. But I
Yeah.
think like, like just I feel like the just the continuity. Like no matter would what trials come up along the way, kind of just sticking to the
Yeah.
things that I've set out to do, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that I'm going to achieve it. I don't necessarily know how exactly, but I know that the faith is there. It's on my heart to achieve this thing, so it's going to happen, you
And,
know?
and they're all coupled together: faith, endurance, perseverance, resilience. Like, you have to have those things in
Mhm.
order to have the other,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think that adds up.
Mhm. Yes, girl.
Adds up.
It adds
It makes a
up.
lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel you on all of that. Like,
Mhm.
continuity, like, it's very easy to give up when
Yeah.
things don't
Yep.
go. And I be feeling like that too.
Mhm.
Content creation is not easy.
Nope. Uh,
Like I'm I'm learning a lot of the ropes from you too, but like,
yes.
you know, I'm just gonna keep sharing what's on my heart.
That's it.
What I set out to do, and that's what you're doing, and that's what we're gonna keep doing.
Absolutely.
Because we deserve to take up space
We do. We do. We do no matter what.
no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I do want you to talk about uh Farada?
Farada.
Farada. I want you to talk about
Yeah.
Farada,
Yeah.
your brand, your page, and
Mhm.
like kind of like what inspired that as well.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to just share.
Hmm.
And it was so funny. Remember we used to do the little
We d-
IG
we
live?
did.
Yo, bro, that's so crazy. I
We
just
sh-
thought about that. I
we,
forgot about that.
we sure did.
Yo, we did that.
I
And
forgot
I remember
too.
doing that with you and feeling like, wow, like people just don't know.
They don't.
You remember the questions we used to get?
Girl. Our
And
Instagram was lit up.
yeah, and I'm like, wow, like this is actually like people really don't have
Hmm.
an understanding of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I've had like I remember we were talking about right before, with the engineer over there. Like he like I had a like I've talked to my male friends
Yeah.
about therapy and stuff, and they simply just don't know.
Hmm.
Right? Like, so I was moved because like I know from me growing up, I didn't have the resources
Yeah.
to understand that I had depression and I had anxiety or even ADHD.
Yeah.
None of those things, those weren't, I didn't have the language to
Right.
express that
Hmm.
because I was never taught it.
Hmm.
And so I made the page because there are people like me who grew up in first gen households or immigrant households or even are immigrants themselves or
Yeah.
whatever, or just black families. You
Yeah.
grow up with the stigma of mental health,
Hmm.
and I want to vocalize things so people can understand like this mental health issues apply to everyone.
Hmm.
We're not exempt,
Exactly.
you know? And I think it's very easy to feel that way. Um, or just to like say, oh, that's a white thing.
Yeah.
Just push it away.
Hmm.
So like I think one of the like I like to I've talked about generational trauma
Hmm.
because that's a thing. Codependency is a thing.
Yep.
I think there's something it's called guilt. This oh, I forgot what it was called.
Mm.
Well, I talked about guilt in first generation, like, as first generation people,
Yeah.
like we generally just feel guilt
Yeah.
and this idea to just please our parents.
Mm.
And people don't realize like this is actually things that are related to our mental health,
Yeah.
So I just provided that page to just I want to be a resource.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to help people.
Hmm.
And I think I've always said, God, don't let me go through all of this in vain.
Mm.
So that's why I'm doing it. I want to be a resource as much as possible and share it. And I've gotten a lot of people say I had no idea that I was like, and that only pushes me. Like when when I talk about like top down and bottom up processing when it comes
Yes.
to treating trauma, like how there's body work and there's mind work.
That
A
part.
lot of people don't really realize. They say I never knew this. So it's been really helpful for me
Yeah.
to just talk about that
Yeah.
for my own, and it pushes me to just learn more.
Hmm.
So that's why I did it. And Farada, like I wanted to represent a part of me and my culture.
Yes.
So Farada means persevere. Farada means perseverance.
Mm.
So I felt like that was a perfect, name
Love it.
to really understand, like, because like I want to help people to persevere.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
while also understanding that navigating your emotions and experiencing your emotions is okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that so much. And I think that actually goes just right along with like your experience. Like you just shared, the word for you is perseverance, right?
It ranged true in my life big time.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
I think that's powerful. And
yeah,
I love the page. I love what it stands for. I love the brand.
yeah, I
And
appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you.
girl,
It does.
of
So
course.
yeah,
Of course. And
yeah,
I follow and I tune in. I'll
yeah.
be learning myself, because I do think like, even though we black people, right? I think, there has been a degree of separation. I feel like sometimes amongst different cultures, like
I
Caribbean
agree.
culture
I
versus
agree.
African culture versus Black American culture. There is, and I think I think that still also comes from like
Propaganda.
white supremacy propaganda.
Yeah, I agree.
That comes from that. but I do think like I think our experiences, though different, right? Because I'm from, y'all know, the audience know I'm Caribbean. My mom's from Jamaica, my father's from Haiti, but I was born here, so I'm super American. I'm New Yorkan for real. but
For
but
real.
yes, but and you too. I
Yeah,
feel
I was
like I
born
feel like
here.
yes.
I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens for 18 years, and
Oh,
from Far
period.
Rockaway,
Yeah. Shout out to Queens.
Ocean
We on the map,
Village.
baby.
Shout out to Queens. Yeah.
We rep Queens hard over here.
Yo. You know what's so crazy? I kind of rep Brooklyn more, but you know,
You do.
I do.
I feel like you do, but you're forgetting your roots,
I was there
boo.
for 18 years too.
Girl.
I think, I am very much a New York girl. Like
Yeah,
every time you go to anywhere outside, they be like, "You from New York,
for
right?
sure.
You
You
from
could tell.
Brooklyn?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"How you know?" He's like, "Yeah, you just always say coffee." I'm like, "Bro, get out."
Yeah. You exude New York.
Yo,
You're
yeah,
you're
yeah,
you're New York. You've
and
been there.
I'm proud of it. I'm
Yeah.
proud from where I'm proud for every aspect of who I am. I think is culture, like Nigerian culture,
Mm-hmm.
Black American culture. I grew up with that too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends growing up were Black
Mm.
American,
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean American.
Yeah.
I love my Haitians.
Yes. Shout
I
out to the
love you.
Zoes.
I love y'all a lot. So like all of it, but I do think that like there has been a degree of separation,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it does like even the stigma. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, if you the like, they got things against Haitians. They have these weird beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
So, and it does affect, that. And I feel like if we were just to be more like communicative across cultures, I think us as first gens, we're doing that a lot more.
Yeah.
But our ancestors, our parents,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more traditional depending on where you're coming from. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit more traditional. But like, as even us talking now,
Mm-hmm.
being able to relate on so many different levels, that's huge.
Yeah.
And it makes us, more knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Bridge whatever gap is there to bridge it.
yeah.
Whatever, like, it's invisible, but it's you. I feel like, if you're a part of like the diaspora, or if you're from African descent, you can feel it. Or if you just even growing up in New York, because New York is such a melting pot, these conversations come up, right, about the differences and whatever. When I feel like, I'm like, at the end of the day, what does get into? Like, what we get into with these type of, and I think, like you said, bridging that gap by having these conversations and sitting down and seeing like there are more things we have in common than different. You get what I'm saying? So I
Yes.
think,
Yeah.
and I think learning from each other, right? Like your page, I think is inspiring, and I feel like I look to it, and I think I'm also like just inspired by you as a therapist. I think I could, like, you have a lot of, not like, you're so knowledgeable, and I'm like, and sis is licensed, okay? So let's get into that part.
Yo,
So let's really
I
get
worked
in.
hard for that.
Let's get into it. And
Yo.
it's not an
Yeah.
easy thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think like, I think there is a lot of like, some people want to take the humble route. I love humility, but I'll be the one to brag for you. I'll do the bragging for you, and and give you your flowers, because I think it's not an easy feat to get to. And so I do think, like, you carry a lot of knowledge, and you exude like, just a great therapist, I think. And to
Thank
me,
you.
you're welcome. And I think that that's important, especially being Nigerian, being from New York,
Yeah.
being a Black woman, going through what you went through,
Yeah.
like having lupus, right? And
Yeah.
like, so I do think that you inspire me, and I know you inspire so many people in your life and around you too.
I
So
appreciate that.
of
Thank you.
course.
And you definitely inspire me.
Thank
I always say that.
you. I
You
appreciate
definitely
that
you
so
do.
much.
You really
Thank you.
do.
Thank
Doing
you.
this. It is inspiring. And yeah, I mean, I think it's no small feat.
Nope. None.
I think I was at a roller skating event,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend was DJing at, and this guy, he was asking me what I do, and I said, "Oh, I'm a therapist." He said, "And you're Nigerian?" His mouth was open for 5 minutes. He was like, I was like, "Yeah, bro, get with it.
Right.
He exists."
That part. Stop being so shy.
Like literally, my cousin is she's a clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Like a lot of me wanting to do this also comes from her. My inspiration from her. Like I've aspired a lot by her.
Yep.
So I'm like, no, and she's like, she was born in Nigeria. Yeah, I mean, she's obviously citizen now, but like, she was born in Nigeria.
Love that.
And so even her navigating and getting to that point, she could tell
It's a lot.
she that was inspiring to me, how she's been able to break a lot of barriers, and reach places that many people wouldn't think to reach when it comes to mental health.
That
So
part.
I definitely, I realized how much of a need it is
Mhm.
when you can look at me and have your mouth open for 5 minutes straight, because I'm a Nigerian therapist. Like, yes, ma'am.
Life
Yes,
changing.
sir, I am.
Transformative.
So yeah, that's why it makes me more even like motivated to do it, even to do
Exactly.
more.
That drives you. That pushes.
Drives.
Yep.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, I get that. I get that completely. I get it. I feel like I'm very much so that way. I feel like when I'm, and this could be a little different from what you were sharing, but I think when I feel like the odds are stacked against me, that drives me more. That makes me want to
Oh,
go.
you thought I couldn't do that?
Now let me show you.
I bet.
I just have to. Like that's
Yeah.
just. It's like yeah, because it's like why not? I feel like that's the story though. That's literally the history. I feel like of Black people, right? Always kind of the odds being stacked against and then proving the majority wrong, right? And
Yeah.
so I feel like I definitely have that nature about myself. And I feel like a lot of times I try to prove that, do that with myself. Like
Mhm.
if I have any self doubt or I'm like, ugh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, keep going. You're gonna figure it out.
Right.
You know, so I think that matters more to me than proving other people wrong. But I feel like sometimes that happens where it's like, just because I feel like you doubt me right now I gotta really rev up the engine and go for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, but no, I appreciate you for sharing too. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of wanted to also like just highlight um, like just the qualities of a therapist that I think just for the listeners too, like
Yeah.
what to look out for, right? Because I know a lot of people, especially people of color, there's a lot of reservations still and still some
Yes.
stigmas about like
Yeah.
therapy and what to
Yeah.
look for in a therapist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I brought in an article just for us to kind of go through
Yeah.
some of the
Sure.
things, and I wanted to just get some of your input and
Mhm.
feedback about it, right? So this, is from Psychology Today. It
Yeah.
says 7 qualities of a great therapist, right? So I'm just gonna go through the list briefly, just
Yeah.
for time, because I know we're running out of time soon.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
the first one is trust building, right?
Mm.
It says therapy asks people to expose their secrets, reveal their fears, and craft new ways of seeing and being. Those feats can happen only if patients feel completely safe and unjudged. Research shows that the effectiveness of therapy hinges on the therapeutic alliance, the relationship between therapist and patient. The pair need to develop a strong sense of rapport, trust, and safety. Trust is the foundation of a sense of security and safety. Without rapport, therapy cannot proceed, says Noam Spencer, a clinical psychologist and professor of psychology at whatever the university is. That's the essential ingredient. What are your thoughts on that?
Trust building?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or this therapy, the therapeutic alliance, I feel like is a popular term,
It's,
but
you know, it is. And I think depending, different modalities will tell you otherwise.
mm-hmm,
I think that if I can't, so you have to be, a lot of therapy is getting out of your comfort zone,
mm-hmm.
right? Especially with people of color who haven't ever, I don't know if I like that term, people of color, but diaspora or whatever.
Yes.
Who
Yes.
haven't been exposed to this type of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So trust building is essential,
Yeah,
I believe, yes.
absolutely.
And in order for people to get out of their comfort zone, they have to feel safe.
Yeah.
Safety and discomfort is what we need to utilize change.
Mm-hmm.
To drive change is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So if this person cannot trust you
Mm-hmm.
with whatever, and like that you have this unconditional positive regard, that they can't trust you, that you will not judge them
Right.
or look down upon them, which is probably a lot of what they're used to,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not going to be able to change.
That part.
It's only going to be it's going to be reinforced that trust is not something that can be given to people.
Yeah.
So trust building is essential,
Mm-hmm.
like essential trust building. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think, I think that happens, of course, like over time, like, right? Because outside of the therapeutic relationship, just a regular relationship, I think the trust happens over time, right? Like the person continues to show themselves to be a safe person and
yeah,
show you these qualities and they're consistent, right? And so I do think that just like a regular relationship in the professional therapeutic relationship, the client has to feel that way. They have to feel like,
yeah.
this therapist is showing up consistently, making me feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
and, allowing me to share the deepest, darkest things of my life with them, and not making me feel judged, allowing me to, while still, of course, holding the clients accountable, and having the real conversations to really, promote healing and stuff. But I do think that's important too. So I
For
agree.
sure.
I agree with that.
For sure.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And the second one is open-minded, right?
Like open mind therapist is open minded.
Yes.
Okay.
Another great quality of a therapist
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
number two, them being open-minded, right?
Okay.
So it says, perhaps paradoxically, a therapist's real benefit to the patient is they have no skin in the game, says Pennsylvania psychologist Daniel Martson. Great therapists don't begin with a fixed point of view about what the outcome should be, however subtle. They are guided by the patient
Mm.
and the patient's view of a meaningful life. Each patient brings a unique history and often remarkable creativity to setting up the life they want, although sometimes they need help resolving some inner child conflict before they can enjoy it. The therapist can help them clear the path to whatever they chose. The goal is to make the patient the best they can be, not the person the therapist thinks they should be, Martin says. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is a good point.
Hmm.
Um, see, that's what I'm saying. It really depends on modality.
Yeah.
I personally believe that, like, you know, I can't I can have an idea of what they like, what I believe is good for the client,
Yeah.
but if the client doesn't get there, um but they find a different way of
Yeah.
living that's joyful for them, then let it be.
Yeah.
I think we have to also realize that we come in with biases as well.
Mm.
Like,
Mm. Ooh. We
so
talking today.
yeah.
Where we at? We You heard what she said? What do you mean by that,
Not
Taiwo?
not
For the
not
therapists who don't have biases, what do you
no, no,
mean? They're
no, we have biases. Her here, right here.
camera.
Nah, look at
Yo.
no, come on. We have
Mhm.
different worldviews. We've come from
Yeah.
different, we have
Mhm.
bias, and we do have to check that.
Yes.
So that I do think that, we do have to be open minded.
Yeah.
And I do think that now, am I saying that you should be swayed in every, no, I'm saying open minded, meaning like open to what this person's view
Mhm.
of their world is,
Yeah.
instead of just trying to change it so quickly. Understand it,
Right.
you know play along with it a little bit,
Yeah.
and then start implementing little changes that work for the person,
Mhm.
because we can't it's not a cookie cutter thing. Everyone's different.
That part.
So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I'm someone who believes in values. I use a lot of ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy,
Mm.
and we know what we want to have a joyful life.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're just afraid to do it.
Mm. Love that.
We're afraid to pursue those things that make us happy, because
Mm.
we're stuck. Because when you're depressed, or when your mind loses that creativity engine of your mind, so you're not able to see past
Mhm.
what you already have.
Mhm.
So, like, I think it's our job to also, like, drive that,
Yeah.
and that does come with open-mindedness, definitely.
That part.
And think about it this way: if you're not open-minded, you're gonna stick to the same thing over and over again. That
Mm.
doesn't make you a good therapist.
That part.
We have to learn different approaches, and get and constantly be educating ourselves on how to help our clients.
Mhm. I feel like I agree with that. I do think that you got to be open minded. I think I'm super open minded as a therapist. I think I'm very open
So
minded.
that work
Girl,
for you?
listen, I'll be over here like, you like it, I love it. But I do think, like you said, we have our own biases, right? So I may feel differently,
Yes.
but I will allow them to feel what they feel, and we proceed that
Yeah.
way. Because in my therapeutic approach, I feel like I show up. I mean, I use person centered
Okay.
as a
I
modality a
love it.
lot,
Yeah.
and I do a lot of like unconditional positive regard,
Yes.
and we work together, which is
Yeah.
collaborative. It's like, what do you think,
Yes.
right? A lot of my thing is like back on them. What do you think? Allowing them to kind
Yes.
of be the
Yeah.
leaders and orchestrators of their life. Because a lot of times clients come in and it's like, I need help. Help me. It's like, hold on. I am a therapist here, but this is your life, So I do think like a lot of it,
Yeah.
it requires me to be open minded, because a lot of times I hear things and my real feelings about it is like, what? But that's not what I'm there. I'm not there to, I am showing up real in the space. I'm bringing my true self into the therapeutic space, but
Yeah, being
it's not my
authentic. Yeah.
job to allow you to feel how I feel or
Yeah.
operate how I would, you
Yeah.
know? So I do think, I think that's just how I am in general. Like I'm pretty open-minded in general. Like I'm able to be around people
You
that,
are.
feel differently from me, do different things from me, but we still coexist and have a good time.
But that's how you gain wisdom. How you
That's it.
gonna learn if you can't listen?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm with you on that
That
for
part.
sure. For
Mhm.
sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that one. Even though that could
Yeah.
be a little, that could bring about a little, for some like, what you mean? Because I think if you do adopt a certain modality, then it could be, and
I agree.
it could be interesting.
That's why I'm saying that, like, if you're a analysis, you're a psychoanalytic person,
Mm,
nah.
it's not gonna work.
I don't
It's
because
not
they
gonna work.
believe they're the expert.
They do. They do. They be like, hold
They
on.
believe they're the expert.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of and I like psychodynamic.
Yeah.
I incorporate that. And I like to do a lot of attachment stuff because I feel
Hmm.
like that is so important.
Yeah.
But you know, I do think that we're the experts.
Mm. Yeah.
Like it's collaboration.
Hmm. Absolutely. And the crazy.
We're the expert. I ain't get this degree for you to sit there and tell me that you know better than me. Nah. But
I'll be letting them think
respect
that.
me.
I'll be letting them think that,
No,
Ty. I'll
no,
be over there like,
no. But they'll think it. But you also have to.
Okay, thank you.
There is a certain there is a certain collaboration that goes with
Yes,
that you have. They do have to
absolutely.
understand that
We're in this together.
we're in this and like look like you're like yes they're the expert on their life,
Yes.
but I'm the expert on how to help you to make it better.
Ooh, come on, let's talk about it. Ooh, you heard what she said. You heard what she said. I agree. I
Yeah,
fully
yeah,
agree. I
yeah,
fully agree. I don't even want to get into that. That might be a little too much for here to part. But I'm gonna just say it. I've had some clients that have been resistant. I would say,
yes,
and
yeah,
what it eventually I was able to help them to kind of come around
yeah,
by continuing to, like it's like I'm still giving them unconditional positive regard. I'm still allowing them to feel like the leader, but in those moments where it's like we kind of have a rift, like in those moments I'm trying to figure out what did I do in those moments that helped them to come around. I think it's sometimes, like I guess in day-to-day things, if you allow somebody to be wrong and strong, eventually they may sit with themselves and realize, yeah, I'm bugging, and come back. I feel like I've had those experiences while I still was, like like, cause what it is, I would just ask questions to maybe make them think about what they just said.
I think so. When they like a lot of times clients come in and there's a resistance because there's a resistance to change.
Mm,
There's a resistance to discomfort,
yeah.
not realizing that discomfort is what you need to change.
Mhm.
Right? So they come in saying, "Well, I don't think that works." I'm like, "Well, has your way worked?"
Right.
And they're like, "No." I said,
Okay then.
so what do you think about trying something new? You gotta, but they also have to. You can't. I am someone who believes in respecting your client and and then say, look, I understand this is hard, but
Mm,
let's try. Like, have you thought about trying it differently? Do you want
yes.
this situation to change? So let's try it.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot with addiction. It helps
Yes.
a lot with like people who are just stuck in the same cycle of depression.
Rumination.
Trying something different. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
like we help them in driving that imagination because that part of your brain is almost shut down.
Yeah.
Creativity is almost shut down.
Mhm.
Like in a sense of like you can't see past the situation. That's what learned helplessness is. Being stuck
Mm.
in the same thing over and over again.
I'm gonna learn helplessness.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
th- creativity is how we get through it.
I love
It's
that.
beautiful.
I
So
love it.
and you got to be able to listen to your therapist.
Exactly.
Listen to your therapist.
Please.
All right.
That's what we there for. All right?
Right, right.
Yes, but you know what? I'm gonna read through the rest of them briefly. I'll put the link for the article in
Yeah.
the
I definitely want
description.
to read that article.
Yes, and I'll
Sure.
I'll send it to you, of course, so
Yeah.
that for the listeners who want to kind of get into it.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be there, but I'll read through it just for time purposes.
Mhm.
But the third one is inquiring.
Definitely.
Yes, the fourth one is demands accountability. So great
Oh, of
therapists
course.
want accountability.
Mhm.
The fifth one is versatile.
Mhm.
Sixth one is unifying,
Mhm.
and the seventh one is self-aware. Right. So
Mm.
I really liked the self-aware one because I read through this before we started, but it basically talks about the therapist having self-awareness in their own lives and for themselves. So they're able to kind of show up into the therapeutic space self-aware and kind of like being able to
Yeah.
see certain things, right?
Mentalization. That's exactly what that is.
Yes.
Being able to be aware of what's going on inside,
Hmm.
use it when necessary, and not use it when necessary.
Exactly. Exactly. That part. So yeah, those were the seven.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll pause here. We'll stop. We'll pause here. We'll stop here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we talked about so much today, and
Yeah.
I'm like I could keep going on.
It's a
But
great conversation.
yes, I appreciate you so much for coming, for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah.
Please let the audience know where they can find you, where they can
Yeah.
follow you, anything you have
Yeah.
upcoming with Farada. Make sure I get it right.
Ooh, that was
Girl,
good.
I'm like,
Let's go. Okay.
yes.
You'd be surprised how people can't say that. Amen. That
Right.
that was really good pronunciation.
Thanks, boo.
Go ahead.
Be trying. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess it up anymore. After that first
Yeah.
time, I was like, we're gonna get it right, get it
As
together.
we
Yes.
should. Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and let them know where they could follow you and anything you have coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, this is I'm new to this, but I have a mental health content page. It's called Farada underscore mental health. That is FARADA underscore mental health. Follow me. And yeah, I talk a lot about just like a lot of issues that are going on, a lot of mental health issues, but specifically that can be very much related to first gens and people of the African diaspora or
Mhm.
diaspora in general.
Yep,
So, follow me. Come see my content,
that's it. It's great. It's
and
great content.
help a sister out. Feel me?
Yes, it's great. It's great content. And are
Yeah.
are you taking any new clients? Because you know they're gonna want to know after this.
Yo, guys, I'm always full.
Not at the
Nah,
moment.
it's you know, if I am, we'll see. I don't really put like you can look me up on the internet. My
Yeah,
name is Taro Magical Dumi. Look me up, but
yeah.
you won't see ways to book me on my page
Got you.
because I don't know. I feel like I don't want to mix that.
It's a lot.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Feel me?
Understood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood. Okay. And thank you so much again for
Yeah.
coming. This was
Yeah.
great. I loved this conversation.
Yeah.
Having my fellow sis, another
Yeah.
therapist in the
Yeah.
room. And yeah, we gotta do this again. We might have to do a part two. Because I feel like a lot of questions is gonna come in after this.
No,
Uh
I'm down for part 2.
yes.
I'm down for part 2. Let me know.
Yes. I will. I
Let me
definitely
know. Yeah,
will.
yeah.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thanks, Mo.
I'm happy. And yeah, y'all,
Yeah.
follow, subscribe, share. Your Mental Matters podcast,
Your
guys.
mental health matters.
We're out.